Okay, guys, so we're going to go into what's called solving quadratics by factoring. Okay, so solving quadratics by factoring. This is for Thursday's worksheet. Thursday's worksheet. I'm still working on this, guys. I'm working on my iPad. We've had a lot of technology issues this week, and so it's been a little tough. So we have our Thursday worksheet's going to talk about quadratics, and they're going to start with giving you roots. And so if we take this one, this is going to be like number 7. I'll just go ahead and do number 7 for you guys. Number 7, and they give us these roots: -1/3 and 5. So if they give us these roots, that means that x equals -1/3 and x equals 5. Okay. So what they want you to do is they want you to work backwards and find the quadratic equation that goes with it. So if we're going to work backwards, we're going to take this thing and we're going to make its own equations. And so I'm going to add 1/3 to both sides. And so I'm going to get x plus 1/3. And then I'm also going to get, if I subtract 5 from both sides, I'm going to get x minus 5 equals 0. So this whole thing, taking these pieces, we're going to get these new, what are called binomials, by just working backwards, making sure everything's on the left side. So now I need to clear this fraction out. So if I do that, I'm going to multiply both of these things by 3. 3 times x plus 3 times 1/3. Okay. And if I do 3 times 1/3, that is going to give me a value of 1. So my new piece here is 3x plus 1. Remember, this is times. And times x minus 5 equals 0. So we're going to go and use the area model, which some of you may be familiar with, and you should be. It's one of the most talked about. Oops, don't know what's going on. Nope, don't really need that. Hold on, guys. I got something popping up on my computer I don't need. Why won't it go away? Let's see if I can get this thing to come off here. There we go. All right, there we go. So we're going to use what's called the area model. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to put it up top here. I'm going to put 3x plus 1. And I'm going to draw a line like that. And then I'm going to take and draw myself a square. I've been getting better at this, guys. Look at that. All right. And then I'm going to put x and minus 5 over here. So then I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to multiply whatever meets up in the box. That's the area. So I'm going to take the area of this side, which is 3x times x, which is 3x squared. And I'm going to do x times 1, which is 1x. And then I'm going to do 3x times -5, which is -15x. And I'm going to do -5 times 1 is -5. Okay. So a couple little things I want you to look at here, and I'm going to slide up just a little bit farther here. Oops. There's some other stuff down here. Let's clean that stuff up out of the way there. Is that I end up with this piece here, 3x squared minus 15x plus 1x minus 5 equals 0. So all I did was multiply this using what's called the area model. When I clean this whole thing up, I get this: 3x squared minus 14x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so I want to draw your attention to a couple of things here. If I took, let me get a different color here. If I took right now, if I took this piece here, let's just say this one, this is A, and this is C. If I took A times C, I would get negative 15. A times C is negative 15. Okay. Now, one of the rules when we're factoring is that if you do A times C, that means whatever factors of A times C are, they need to add to make B. So factors of negative 15 need to add to make B. B is negative 14. That's B. So if we look at this, I've got a factor of negative 15. So slide farther down here, guys. So if I look at this, I can say that negative 15 right here, the negative 15 plus 1 equals negative 14. Look at that. It's right there. So this is the factors of A times C, and this is B. So the factors of A times C add to make B. So the reason I bring this up to you, is that I wanted to show you that we started with roots. We started with roots like this, and this is on the page 17 side. We worked all the way down to where we came up with a quadratic. That's a quadratic. And I wanted to show you some patterns in this formula, or in this area model, where we do 3 times negative 5, A times C here, and then these factors of 15 that add to make B, they go here in the corners. And so you can kind of see how it's proved right here. So we end up with this quadratic formula. So if we can work and go this way, that means following some of these rules, we can turn around and go back this way. And so this is our multiplication piece. I'm going to put multiply here. That's how we multiply. And this is how we factor. So we've done multiplication before. Now we got to turn around and we got to factor by going backwards. So I am going to use this same equation here. Erase that. Okay. And I'm going to add, I'll make the line a little bigger, and I'm going to say, okay, I want to solve by factoring. Okay. I want to solve by factoring. And what do I want to solve by factoring? I want to solve 3x squared minus 14x minus 5 equals 0. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to use the area model again, just like we said before. Look, they're the same. Those two are the same. Drawing the same thing, except now I don't have the outside. I need to work with the inside. I'm going to work inside out on this side. So I'm going to take A and I'm going to put it here. I'm going to take B, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to take each one of these X's and I'm going to put an X here and an X here, because that's going to signify that piece right there. See how there's two X's right there? See how there's an X here and an X here? But I don't know what goes in each of these boxes just yet. So I have to do A times C. So A times C equals negative 15. My B is negative 14. So we need to know what two numbers multiply to make negative 15, but add to make negative 14. Well, it's negative 15 plus 1. That gives us negative 14. So that means one of these is negative 15, and the other one is 1. Just like we had here. Look at that. Same exact thing. So I'm working backwards now. So now what I've got to do, this time we multiplied to get in here on the left side where my cursor is. But if we multiplied to get in here, how do I get back out? Well, we divide. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the columns here. So I can divide 3, the number 3, out of each of those, or the coefficient 3. Okay, there's my 3. I can divide an x out of both of these. There's my x. And I can divide a 1 out of both of those. There's my 1. So there's my 3x plus, my 3x plus 1. Now, I'm going to work columns this way. I'm sorry, rows. I can divide an x out of each of those. I can look at this. I can divide a negative out of both of those. And I can also divide a 5 out of both of those. So now I've got 3x plus 1, x minus 5, and those both equal 0. Now, when I do this, I can set them both equal to 0 by what's called the zero product property. And I can solve, and I get 3x equals negative 1, and x equals negative 1/3. X equals 5. Those are my answers. What did we start with? Here we go. Look, those are my answers right here. So I was given roots, and I worked my way down by using the arrow mod and multiplying, and I ended up with a quadratic. And then if we need to solve it by factoring, we're going to solve these by factoring by doing the exact reverse of the multiplication. So instead of multiplying, we're going to divide by columns. We just have to know this new rule right here. A times C, the factors of A times C add to make B. All right, so let's do one more example. I know the video may be a little bit long, but I want to make sure you guys get this piece. So I am going to do, let's see here. Let's do number 10 on, so this is still Thursday's worksheet. Thursday's worksheet. And it's actually, if you look at the bottom, it's page number 18. And I'm going to do number 10. So this is what number 10 says. Number 10 says this, 4x squared plus 27x minus 7 equals 0. So let's kind of work with it. All right, guys, let's do this. So, oh man, I lost my ability to draw a box already. So let's just take this and we're going to work here. So we need to take our A and our C. So I'm going to take my A and I'm going to put it right here, 4x squared. I'm going to take each one of these x's and put here. I'm going to take my negative 7, I'm going to put here. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, 4 times negative 7 equals negative 28. What multiplies to make negative 28 but adds to make my positive 27? Well, we're pretty close here. So we got negative 28 times 1. So negative 28 times 1 makes negative 28. Negative 28 plus 1 gives me positive 27. So now I can put them in here. It doesn't matter which way you put them there. So I'm going to put my negative 28 up here. And then I'm going to put my 1 here. All right, so now let's do what we did before. Let's change colors here so you guys can see it. All right, so I'll work my columns first. What can I divide out of both of these? I can divide an x out of that. What can I divide out of both of these? Well, I got a negative and a negative, so I can take a negative out. And I can divide 7 out of both of those. What can I divide out of this? I can divide a 4 out of both of those. I can also divide out an x. And on the bottom here, I can divide a 1 out of each of those. So here's my new equation. X minus 7 times 4x plus 1. And that equals 0. So by the zero product property, I feel like I've got something a little messed up here, but I don't know where it's at. But we'll see what happens. So how you can check, this is what's messed up here. It shouldn't be. Oh, I see what I did. You guys see what I did right here? Look. What's negative 28 plus 1? It's negative 27. So this is actually a negative. So this becomes a negative, and this is actually a positive. So let's erase that little piece right there. And this is actually becomes a positive 7. So I made a mistake on my addition. So then this becomes a good morning. Did you get Thursday's video? I'm doing it right now. Yep. So then we end up with these pieces. Sorry about that, guys. So this should be a positive, and this should be a negative. 28 plus negative 1 equals 27. So make sure you fix those signs. So that changes things. So then we get x plus 7 equals 0. X equals negative 7. And 4x minus 1 equals 0. 4x equals 1. X equals 1/4. Okay, so my answers are negative 7 and 1/4. So on the worksheet, I would look at the answers and just kind of make sure you can work your way to it. So factor using the area model, and good luck, and we'll talk to you later.